Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. So welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk. We host one of these every single Sunday, normally at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Today we're going live at 5:13 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. We're just going to be breaking down a couple different stocks that our group members or just subscribers are really just going to be asking us to break down. All I ask you to do is, if you guys would like me to break down your top stock, that you share it in the ticker call out format. One of the things that I want to let you guys know is I got this screenshot from Earning Whispers on Instagram. This upcoming week is a huge week for earnings. These are a list of the main companies that are reporting earnings this week. And just a little heads up, Tesla is one of those stocks after market hours that's going to be reporting earnings. But we have everything from Tesla, we have everything from AMD, which is super popular stock, Shopify, Spotify, Apple, Facebook, NIO, right? These are all stocks or companies that I'm sure a lot of you guys have been paying attention to. So this is one of my favorite times out of each quarter, right, to kind of follow up with the stocks that you see the most value in and to see how they either have a positive or negative influence due to their earnings reports. So again, if you guys would like us to break down your top stock, all I ask you to do is to post it in the ticker call out format, and I'd be more than happy to break it down for you. So let's go ahead and get right to it. So let's see. So we have a couple people sharing different stocks, but they're not necessarily in the ticker call out format. Here we go. Alrighty, so we got people asking about Mara, so I'll give you guys some time to post it in the ticker call out format. But Mara was a stock that has been presented to us for the past 2 weeks. One of the things that we love to talk about are stocks that you might see value in that might not just be the best buy right now. One of the mistakes that I make pretty often is, how many times have you guys ever done this when something is selling off and you find it to be a good deal based off of previous support levels, but it just continues and continues to sell off, right? Mara has been pulling on back. It's not indicating any signs of an uptrend just yet, and it is officially still trading below the SMA line, which is the simple moving average. The more patient you are and the more it sells off, the larger margin you could potentially build for yourself. Based off of previous resistance levels, I see why people are paying attention to it. But just like a lot of you guys know, when something offers a greater form of reward, it tends to come at a greater form of risk. So just make sure you take that into consideration. And I'm going to keep this one pretty simple, and I'm going to post and set alerts on both sides. A lot of you guys know that TOS has been kind of lacking when it comes down to the alerts, so just make sure you take that into consideration. All right, let's see. So I'm guessing you're too cool to ask about Dogecoin. No, not at all. I just don't personally trade crypto myself. That's just the way. It's not the way that I personally like to invest my money, if I can say it that way. I've been seeing a lot of people, not only that are part of Technical Solutions, but even people that I know that have partaken in that action. And I'm always here to encourage you guys, to pursue whatever market it is that you see value in. At the end of the day, I know there's so many different ways on how to make money in all these various markets. All I ever want to encourage you to do, and I know it gets annoying, but I hope that you guys know I always like to encourage people to lock in profits, especially when we're showing signs of overbought levels. But that's just the way that I approach things. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is PLTR. So PLTR, but I appreciate you asking about Dogecoin. So PLTR has been getting rejected nonstop at the SMA line, as you guys can see. Ever since it has fallen below, right, what used to act as a support level is now acting as a resistance level. You can see that almost every single time that PLTR would pull on back, it would find a support level here. But since the market kind of began to pull back, so did PLTR, and it's been struggling to recover from that point moving forward. So it has earnings on the 4th of May. So just make sure you take that into consideration. And as of right now, based off of, that's all I can go off of, based off of previous resistance levels being at the SMA line, would I view this to be the best deal? No, not necessarily, but it's still trading above the EMA line. It's still bullish. It just tends to get rejected at the SMA line. So I would just be careful and such alert, right, for the break below the EMA. If you see that break a pattern, then maybe you can follow up with it and make a little bit more of an informed decision there. I also have my alert already set for the break above 24. We've talked about PLTR before. So if it breaks above 24 and it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, I'd love to invest into it. But once it begins to indicate more consistent signs of an overall uptrend. So let's see. All right. So we got FCEL. FCEL. Here we go. All right, on the 180-day chart, we hit highs of $29.60. It's been pulling on back ever since then. As of right now, there's no right or wrong when it comes down to this. What we always just like to talk about is direction is super important. It's not that it's impossible to make money off of something that's selling off. It's just a little bit more difficult when that direction is not in your favor. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this firsthand, but it's been making lower highs and lower lows, and it just recently pushed on up. And yeah, it's above EMA, but it has a tendency to push up, hit a resistance, and then make new lows, push up, hit a resistance, and then make new lows, push up, hit a resistance, and then it tends to make new lows. Obviously, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. I see why you're paying attention to it. FCEL was a very popular kind of like hyped up stock once it hit highs of $29. So I see why you're paying attention to it based off of the profit potential. I just want to make sure that you take into consideration that it has a lot to prove before it even begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So I appreciate you asking about it though. So we got Lando Hernandez with WBA. I appreciate you going out of your way and posting it in the ticker call out format. So very consistent uptrend pattern here. So we could see that it's been making higher highs and higher lows above SMA. So we just recently pulled on back from highs of $57. I know that this one will most likely meet a lot of your guys' criteria because it tends to find a support level at the SMA line and then makes new highs, pulls on back, finds a support level, makes new highs, pulls on back, finds a support level, makes new highs. So again, with the idea that patterns tend to repeat themselves, they of course don't always have to. Just make sure you take that into consideration, that there's two sides to every opportunity, and risk management needs to be something that you take into consideration. This thing offers nearly 7%, nearly 8% potential for a recovery. So it's not crazy margins, but it's definitely something that I can see why it might be added to your watch list. Set effective alert, and you can follow up with it when it makes the most sense. But again, as of right now, it's still getting rejected by the EMA line, so just make sure you take that into consideration. And I'm going to set my alert for the break above EMA. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got Snap. How you doing? So Snap. Here it goes. So earnings kind of just made it consolidate. So not much going on there. I think it had 7% day on Friday. Looks like its previous resistance level was around $65. Previous support level was right around $54. A lot of consolidation. This is up to you guys. I'm just sharing my 2 cents. Snapchat had a tendency of being bullish, right? But for the past 2.5 months, it's kind of just had a very common resistance level at $65 and a very common support level right around 50 to 55. So it's not necessarily making higher highs or higher lows anymore. It's kind of just consolidating. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Just as long as you take that into consideration based off of where we're at right now to previous highs, 5%, versus its downside, a little bit over 20%. So because of that, the risk reward isn't necessarily worth it for myself, which is why I wouldn't view it a top stock to buy. But I see why you're paying attention to it. It just came off of earnings. It's above EMA. It's looking like it can continue to rally. So we'll just have to follow up with it since from that point moving forward. Let's go ahead and... All right, so that's a good question. So how much do you have to put in line in order to be able to make $300 to $400 per day? One of the things that you have to understand is when it comes down to profit that you make in the market, it is all based off of percentage return, right? So if you put in $1,000, it would only have to move 1%, right, for you to be able to make those like $10, right? Versus if you were to have $10,000 and you make that 1%, obviously the whole idea of what I'm trying to share with you is that it's all a case by case. You don't even have to make money, right? You could end up losing money. This is something that you experience a lot when you're just getting started with the idea that, as a beginner, in my eyes, your focus should be to learn, which is why I've made so many videos talking about paper trading, simulation trading, focus on risk management, focus on learning how to trade first, and then focus later on, trading to make money. We had this like idea that we shared with our Learn Plan Profit group, and it's instead of obsessing as you're getting started and trying to make the most money right now, that you really focus on the learning aspects. Instead of buying 100 shares or whatever, how many shares you can buy, you buy one share, and it was called the one share test buy, where you simply invest or take or buy one share to test things out, which will really allow you to focus on what's important, right? Because when you buy one share, you're not focused on trying to make the most money off of that one share. You're focused on proper entry, proper exit, and proper stop loss if it needs to go to that place. But at the end of the day, it is all based off of percentage growth. So if you have $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, then you can kind of try to determine what you are aiming for per day, and then you can kind of adjust based off of that. But my biggest, just the thing that I need you guys to know, especially if you're just getting started, is you need to learn how to trade first before anything, right? And there's a big learning curve. The stock market is not easy, but it's the challenging things in life that tend to follow with the greatest fulfillment, which is why I think so many people, if they do get to that point, feel so much more grateful for what it is that they have in life or what they've been able to achieve. So I just want to make sure that you understand that it's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of time to learn the ins and the outs. You make a lot of mistakes along the way, and I just think one of the best things that I can share with you is be eager to make those mistakes, but make those mistakes in a position in which you can succeed, right? And I think either buying one share at a time or paper trading is a great alternative versus going all in right away. But again, it's up to you, right? We're never here to tell you what to do. So let's go ahead and break down SQ. So what's going on, Christian? So we got ticker symbol SQ. So this is Square. Hit overall highs around 280 a share, is recently pulling on back. So I definitely see why you're paying attention to it. It looks like the SMA line is acting as a potential support level, has up and coming earnings. So just make sure you take that into consideration on the 6th of May. So take that into consideration, right? So from where we're at right now to previous resistance levels offers about 15%. So I definitely see why you're paying attention to it. We have no indication of a reversal just yet, but again, it's the beautiful thing about being able to set proper alerts and being able to follow up with it when it makes the most sense. So let's set those effective alerts and follow up with it. But I appreciate you asking me about SQ. It's one that I definitely have been paying attention to quite some time. So manage losses. Don't be afraid to cut losses quick. There's always opportunity. Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. And Steven, I'm sure that you can agree, and a lot of people that are probably watching right now, I think that you will learn as time goes on that, you literally have nothing but time to make money in the market, right? If this is actually a market, if you're like going to be questioning, like, is the stock market something that I want to pursue, or, do I even want to invest the time? I feel like you're already putting yourself in a position to fail when the market's already so difficult to be successful in. With that being said, if you're someone that's eager to learn from your mistakes, make simple progress over time, I'm excited to follow up with your progress and to see how you not only, I would say, develop as a trader and as an investor, but as an individual, in which you can take the concepts that you learned from the stock market and you can implement it in other areas. A lot of you guys, I feel, follow me not just because I trade in the stock market, right? But because I invest in real estate, right? Or I flip houses, or, I love cars, right? And instead of buying cars and just taking a huge loss on them, we own a couple dealerships, right? I'm the investor in a couple different car dealerships, and it's just really cool to be able to take a big passion of yours and to be able to create it and formulate it into a business. So I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about for you guys. So we got ticker symbol VUZI. Alrighty, I like this one. So I appreciate you sharing this one with me. It looks like on the 180-day chart, hit overall highs of $32, recently pulled on back, has up and coming earnings, right? this is on the 10th, so just make sure you take that into consideration. But it looks like it's trying to find a support level just like it's done before. So sold off, broke above EMA, and then it rallied once again. So once we get more indication of an uptrend, then it can look like a little bit more of a more certain play. But I definitely see why you're paying attention to it. Offers a little bit over 40% margin. Just again, take into consideration that the greater reward that it offers, probably the greater form of risk that it comes with as well. So just make sure you take that into consideration. But yeah, this one has to be one of my favorites that has been requested throughout this live stream so far. So let's go ahead and break down 3 more, and I will end it there. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time, and I'm sure you guys are just eager to get back to whatever it is that you guys were doing. So any advice on gaining confidence as a beginner? I finished the beginner learning phase, but I'm unconfident to become experienced. So I think there's a very powerful quote that I once heard, and it's that things don't become less challenging or less scary. You just become more comfortable being scared. And I think a lot of it has to do with tolerance. So I think you need to take into consideration, and this is with a lot of things, not just the stock market, right? But it's the way that I've developed my skills, I would say even with YouTube, for an example, with real estate, with buying and selling cars, in the very beginning, you're kind of trying to understand the structure and the ins and the outs of what it is that you are doing. And over time, you will develop your own series of processes or whatever the case might be that work for you. And this is one of the things that I've always tried to share on my YouTube channel, is that there's so many different ways on how to be successful in different markets, and you don't just have to follow one person, right? I've always loved to share the idea that my style of trading is I've never said that it's the best way or the only way or the highway, nothing like that, right? I always love encouraging you guys to watch other people on YouTube. My only goal for each and every single one of you is to surround yourself and work with people that empower you and make you the best version of yourself, that make you feel the best version of yourself. Because I think when you put yourself in that mindset and in that position to succeed, you are more likely and more willing to not give up. I think at the end of the day, if you enjoy what it is that you do every single day, then that has to be, a big accomplishment. So confidence definitely comes with time. So you just got to make sure that you put in the time in the areas in which that you see value. I know the stock market's not for everyone, so don't try. You should never be convinced to do something when it already has a difficult enough learning curve. Do you get what I mean? So I hope that can resonate well with some of you. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is Jake SNBR. So I appreciate that, SNBR. Here we go. Very consistent uptrend pattern. Hit overall highs at 150, 144. It has been pulling on back ever since. It reported earnings already, which acted as a negative catalyst. People love to ask me, Ricky, why do you like trading after earnings? This is one of the reasons, right? Because there can be a sudden drop. This is one example. Netflix is another example. I think we talked about this last week, where Netflix reported earnings. It sold off, and it provides a dip buy opportunity for those who see value in it. It's definitely not for everyone, and I'm not here to say that if you need to invest after earnings. That's not the case. It's just I like to explain why. I never like to tell people what to do. I like to explain why I do things. And again, I make a lot of mistakes, so just make sure you take that into consideration. But I'm going to set alerts on both sides. I think that you did a great job identifying a stock that has recently pulled on back, so it provides a decent deal, but the direction is not in our favor, right? It's still pulling on back. It's still getting rejected by the EMA line. And again, friendly reminder, the more patient that you stay as something sells off, the more margin you can build for yourself for a potential recovery. So just try to look at it with a positive outlook on why you should be eager to, wait for confirmation. So let's go ahead and move on to, let's do 2 more. So PTON, I'm actually super happy that you brought up PTON. PTON is one stock that, this is just my opinion, one stock that I'm eager to wait for after earnings and see where it goes from there. It's at a previous support level at $100 a share based off previous resistance levels at 120. That's 20% margin. I have found that to be attractive enough, right? But like we know, earnings, especially more now than ever before, can be crazy. It's very unpredictable. So it can continue to drop or it can push up, and I miss my dip buy opportunity. But again, I know this is not for everyone, but I know that I would rather be safe than sorry. So because of that, I'm just going to wait until it reports earnings, see where it's at from there. And if I can get in at a better deal, then I'll just buy a couple of shares that I wouldn't mind holding for a longer period of time. So yes, it's at a support level. Yes, if it begins to indicate signs of reversal based off previous resistance levels, that's around 120, which is 20% margins. But I would personally, I'm eager to wait until after earnings. So let me know what you guys think about that. So we got Michael with Ttcf. Alrighty, so Ttcf hit overall highs of around $26, has been selling off ever since. You guys know that direction is super important to me. As of right now, direction has been very bearish for Ttcf. So it's been selling off more than it's been pushing up, and it's been making lower highs and lower lows. It just recently broke above EMA, and it has a nice rally going on, but it normally doesn't hold up here for a long period of time before it continues to sell off. So because of that, the direction's not in my favor, and because of that, it just doesn't meet my criteria, which is why I wouldn't put money into it. But that's just, again, my 2 cents. So, alrighty, appreciate that. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, G Pro, let's go ahead and break that one down. Okay, I actually really like this one. So first off, again, earnings, a really big thing. Earnings is on the 6th of May, recently pulled on back from overall highs of $13.83. So it's consolidating right around $11. It's not really indicating signs of an uptrend just yet. So I have my alert set here. But just like we know, what goes up can potentially go down again. So let's just make sure that we understand that. And from where we're at as of right now, if it were to make a recovery to nearly $14, 24%. So I definitely see why you're paying attention to it. I just don't have that confirmation of that reversal just yet. So let's do one more and then we'll go from there. Let's do 2 more, X and Ulta. So we got ticker symbol X. Looks like it finally found a support level at SMA line. Looks like it's trying to push up. Right now, right around $24, which it's been rejected at $24 before. But earnings is going to be the biggest factor. It's on the 30th of April. So make sure you take that into consideration. So just 4 more days, right? So that might be Thursday on when it reports earnings, and just based off of previous patterns and track record, it could definitely act as a negative catalyst. So overall, big picture, just make sure you take that into consideration and stay prepared. The last one is going to be Ulta. So Ulta, a very popular brand, very consistent, very bullish. And this is one thing that I think not enough people, especially traders, I feel like more investors talk about this, but definitely not traders. Ulta is not something that offers crazy margin. It's not something that offers enormous return or anything of that, right? It's a very consistent stock. It's been bullish for the past 180 days. And at the end of the day, if you're someone that's just getting started, forget about Ulta. Ulta is just an example of a very bullish stock, right? Very consistent, very reliable. At the end of the day, if you're someone that's just getting started and you're struggling and you're getting discouraged because you're trading all these pump and dumps, momentum stocks, penny stocks, right? I don't trade any of those, but I know that when someone is just getting started, that's normally the first route that they kind of like lean into. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that they tend to come at a greater form of risk. Greater opportunity, but greater form of risk. With a stock that shows characteristics of something that's consistent, bullish, a little bit more reliable of a solid company, it tends to be easier to learn from it. And it's a very simple question that you can ask yourself. You're right, you're not going to make a killing on this. But are you trading with right now what you could be trading with or investing with 5 years from now? No, not necessarily, right? You're trading with a dollar amount that a beginner is most likely trading with, right? And because of that, why not focus on learning now and focus on making money later? So if you can focus on building a good track record, confidence, experience, and you do it in a way where you put yourself in a position to succeed with solid companies, and it's not that every trade and every investment is going to go according to plan. Mistakes will happen. It's the stock market, right? But at least it moves slow enough that you can manage and tolerate those mistakes. And I think that's the biggest thing. So we still have a lot of people. I'm actually really surprised. We still have a lot of people asking for different stocks to be broken down. One of the things that I do want to ask you is if I did not get to your stock, your top stock, I see a lot of you guys already have it in the ticker call out format. All I would ask you to do is to make sure you head on over. Well, first off, I guess you have to be part of our free Facebook group. So we have our free Facebook group. You guys can refresh your screen. It's the first link in the description. You don't have to join, but if you would like to, we have 311,000 members. Once you get accepted to our free Discord chat, right? This will send you on over to our Discord chat. And if you're part of Learn Plan Profit, then you can post your alert here in the group alerts. But if you're part of TechBot Solutions, then you can post it in the watch list, and I would love to break it down for you. So if you guys would like me to break down your stock, just make sure you copy and paste it here and you tag me. So that would be pretty simple. But again, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I wish you guys nothing but an amazing start to this week. And if you guys want to tune on in to my live trading session tomorrow, you guys can click the second link in the description and you will be able to see me trade live tomorrow at market open. But until then, you guys can feel free to message me on Instagram. Just a little heads up, I've said this before, but there's so many fake accounts on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube as well of people that they have my same name, they have my same cover picture, but they do not have the verified check mark. They ask you to message them on WhatsApp. I need you to know that I do not have a WhatsApp. I do not do anything for anybody. I never ask you for personal information. I never ask you for money. I don't trade crypto, right? Please understand that if you ever get a message from me and you never message me, it's probably a fake account. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. Continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be a drive to your success. I hope that we earned your thumbs up and that you can consider subscribing. And I'm eager for the people that are part of LPP. We'll see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. Until then, like always, let's make sure that we end the year